Hi, I'm Troy, and welcome back to another on-the-road video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for proper voltage. Remember to also turn off the water. Today what we're looking at is the Maytag dishwasher that needs a new control board. Basically we have no response from any of the controls up top. So first thing we have to do is remove power and then open the door and remove the 10 screws located around the inside of the door to remove the front panel and the console. Tools to complete this repair are a flat blade screwdriver and your T15 and T20 Torx bit drivers. With all the screws out, you're going to close the door just a little bit. The front panel is going to slide down, and then you can lift back up and remove it from the unit. Once the control panel or the front panel is removed from the unit, we can now take the touchpad off. There is one more screw underneath, so we can remove the touchpad. What we're going to do is remove power from the unit right now. I don't have access to the breaker for this unit, so what I'm going to do is remove the cover from the control board. Cover's removed. The black and white wire on this unit are the power leads coming in. I'm going to unplug that from the unit to remove power. Once that's off, I'm going to take this one last screw out right here so I can take the touchpad off and get full access to the control panel. This unit with power attached to the control board, we have no response from keypad on any of them, and we have a few flashing lights. With a Whirlpool dishwasher that has this style control board and this particular unit, you're going to have either a plug style with wires that go to all the touchpad, or you're going to have a ribbon connection that you can take off. And what you're going to do now to diagnose and tell if you have a bad touchpad or a bad control board is you're going to open the door so the lock is not engaged. You're going to remove the ribbon plug. When the ribbon plug is removed, you're now going to reattach power to the unit. Power reattached, you're going to wait 5 to 10 seconds. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and shut the door. Once the door is shut, you're going to wait anywhere from 5 to maybe 20 or 30 seconds. You're going to wait and see what the unit does. If the unit has no response, meaning it sits there in the same state, just dead, not doing anything, according to Whirlpool tech sheet, you have a faulty control board. If in this instance the unit would have went into a canceled drain with this harness unplugged and power reattached with the door shut, if it would have went into a canceled drain, that tells us that we have a bad touchpad on the unit. Since we have no canceled drain, it's still sitting here in a neutral or dead state, we know that we need to go ahead and replace the control board. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and remove the power again, remove all the wire connections, take the screw out, remove the touchpad, and change out the control board. Now we're going to take and remove the last Torx screw to remove the control panel. The Torx screw out, the control panel will just come right off. We can set that down out of the way. Now we have access to the full control board. What we're going to do now is remove the rest of the wires, the rest of the harness. Once the harnesses are out of the way, we're going to take either a flat blade screwdriver or a tack puller, whichever one you prefer, and right up here we have a retaining tab that we're going to push up. Once that's pushed up, we can slide the control board over. Control board slid over, we can now remove it from the unit. With the new board in hand, you're going to put it back on the unit. You have tabs on the back that slide into little notches. Once they slide in, it's going to slide over and then be secured with this tab up here holding it in place. On the bottom of the unit, you'll notice that the ports are all color coded. So when you're going to put it back on, you're going to have a color coded, but they are also keyed. They have certain notches in them, so when you go to put your harnesses back on, you can match up the notches and the color. So what we're going to do now is take the control board, we're going to hold it back up in place. It's back in place, and we're going to slide it over till it clicks in place. Once it's clicked back where it needs to be, you're going to go ahead and reattach the harnesses. I will take the old board and know that I have it in the position that I have a brown harness. So when I put this up, the brown harness is going to go right over on this side and put it in place. I have a violet and yellow, so I know I have a violet and a yellow, so the violet is going to go right next to here, and then the yellow is going to go second from the end. The yellow's back in place. Now once those are in place, we have the two last plugs that go in. You look, you have a large plug and a small plug. We're going to reattach the plug. I'm going to leave the power wire off to start with because I'm going to first, with that off so power is removed, I'm going to put the control panel back on, the touchpad I mean, with the touchpad back on, I'm going to plug that in, then reattach power, and then we'll be able to start the unit. We're going to take the user interface, put it back up in place. Once it's held back up in place, what we're going to do is reattach the screw that went on the bottom. Once that screw's back in place, we'll plug the harness back in. Harness is plugged back in. We now will take and reattach the power supply. So the power supply back in place. Now with the unit finished being repaired, we're going to go ahead and put the panel back on. You're going to take and slide the panel over the notches that are down here. You have metal tabs that it comes down on the bottom. You're going to set that over the top of each side and slide down. It's going to slide back up into these notches at the top. Once that's back in place, you're going to open the door and then reattach your screws on the outside. Once your screws are reattached, close the door, and that completes your repair. Thank you for watching another quality repair video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.